Alright everybody, welcome to the Sovereignty stream here for Slytherin Ltd. I am Agrippa Maxentius. In case you don't know about my channel, I do strategy games. I do a lot of games made by Slytherin, as a matter of fact. Take a look at it. It is Agrippa Maxentius, A-G-R-I-P-P-A, space M-A-X-E-N-T-I-U-S. So take a look there after the stream if you'd like. Put some comments down below on how I did. We're going to go ahead today and we're going to jump right into a new faction. The management really wanted me to look at different factions to show you guys just the amount of different races you can play in this game. It's quite amazing, the amount of different cultures, etc. So today, who we're going to be focusing on, at least initially, I don't think for a second this is going to last for very long because this is a very tiny nation here, is the swamplands of Palamore. And this, of course, as you can see, they've even got this sort of almost satanic occult symbol, and they are undead. They are extremely evil. These are Death Knights, as you guys can see, and it says here, we answer, the Death Knights will ride once again. We will raise the dead to join our swelling ranks and greet Malador's legions on the field, as must be in all that was writ before time. So essentially we have to ally with Malador, which is, I believe, not an undead kingdom, merely an evil kingdom that broke away from the Baruvian Empire, and they're actually led by human necromancers. So it'd be interesting. We would have to make it all the way across the map to Malador, so we'd have to cut through a lot here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit play. I should have actually put it on Iron Man mode. I might as well, because since you guys are watching live, if I get killed here, I'm not going to be able to trick you guys into thinking I'm playing well anyway, so it makes no difference to me. Let's go ahead, and here we go. In legend, it is said that the cold swamp of Palamore was once part of the verdant forest home of Sonave, but that secret society of elves sought power in dark places, and there they delved too deeply. The land itself revolted and was corrupted. Dead waters rose with a hypnotic call of doom. Today, undead spirits of their drowned stirred beneath the shallow waters. Banshees sing hauntingly through the mists, and a cabal of liches are led by a dark master. Palamore is no place for the living. Just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and enable tips for those of you that have not played Sovereignty yet, etc. You may be able to learn a little bit just about the game. So we do have our army here, and I want to take a look at the army of Palamore, because I've never seen it. And I'm just curious at the kind of units here. Look at this. We've got Cold Mist Skeletons. They actually seem to have pretty weak attack power, I must say. Not the best for attacking, I suppose. We've got these Will-O-Wisps, just defense, really. But they do have a Phantom and a Garrison ability. And look at this, the Ghouls. It's Death Eater. I'm not sure what Death Eater means. Maybe they gain life from attacking. I have no idea. And, of course, the Mandrake. A lot of really interesting, but different sort of creatures, units, etc., and of course the rates. The rates actually seem quite strong. So do the liches. The liches here are really what we are made of. So we're going to go ahead. First of all, I need to purchase units. Definitely need to purchase some units. So one thing, these zombies are pretty cheap. The Cold Mist Skeletons, I guess they're kind of expendable units. At least the zombies are brave. So I'm going to go ahead and try to buy some zombies. And I'm actually kind of thinking this through, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far. I wonder how we'll do in battle. That might change. Now, one thing that I know is certain is that in Palamore, one thing that is extremely important is the magic. You need to raise your magic because, we're Death Knights, where we basically work in black magic, in the occult, this sort of thing. So I'm going to actually invest a significant amount of my treasury into magic. I'm going to go ahead and put 25%. This is a lot to put into magic. So unless you're playing with a magic-heavy race like Palamore, I would not recommend this. Let's go ahead and end our turn. Oh, okay. New life bursts forth with the coming of spring. And now we're essentially just waiting, kind of for battle to commence and for us to go ahead and just start killing things, of course. Alright, let's see. So I just want to take a look here quickly. Once again, our army is just being built up at this point, and we're going to charge. I mean, I'd love to charge into Vestoy, but as you guys can see, this thing is huge. This is a massive, massive region, and I'm thinking the first place I want to go is Sonave. We want to go kill these elves here, and, they brought it upon themselves. You guys just read the Palamore history as well, and you could see that, basically some dark elves from Sonave decided to go and do something a little crazy and start raising Death Knights. That then never leads to good things. I'm telling you right now, folks, don't try raising the dead It's just not a good idea. It really isn't. In any case, here we go. So a hero wishes to rally to our banner. Wow, a necromancer. Target one standard unit you control and one standard unit your enemy controls. Those units may not have medals. Destroy both units. That is awesome, and I know exactly what I'm going to be using my zombies for now. So let's go ahead. We've got 5 zombies. Wow. One thing I must say about Palomar, they can certainly get a lot of men on the field. So let's go ahead. This army's actually full, so we can actually start a new army. And I'm going to go ahead and deploy my hero to, obviously, our main army. Let's go ahead and put him here. Where's my hero? Where's my... Oh, dear. What's going on here? I hope I didn't accidentally deploy my hero to that army. In any case, we'll go ahead. We'll end the turn. Okay, look what's going on in Iron Barony. Wow. I mean, I know that they're, war hungry, but all of these armies that they're moving towards sort of the edge of Dragonhold and Dunmar here, it's a little worrying, a little troubling to me, I must say. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Purchase more units. I want to see what we would need, what resources we would need to get more ghouls. I'm guessing fish. Why would you need fish to build ghouls? And of course our bone demons. These are unbelievable characters, but they require 2 gems and 3 salt just to raise 1. I mean, that's very expensive for a unit. So I'm a little put off by that, but the price here of these units, they're quite expensive. Now, as you guys can see, not all of our army would follow us into Sonev. I'm going to go ahead and attack Sonev, because obviously my main goal here is just to show you guys the different units in the game. So here we go, guys. The skirmish. We are attacking Sonev's army, and it looks like they don't have much of a large army here, but I want to take a look anyway. So they've got Elven Bards, Elven Longbows, and Cielite Infantry. We'll go ahead and fight the battle. Just auto-resolve it, I guess. Okay, no, I'm going to go ahead and actually fight it. What? Why do I keep hitting the auto-resolve button? Goodness. I'm just going to go ahead and skip. Alright, well, in this case, wow. I may have just made a tiny mistake here, but I think we can actually finish them off. I'm not too concerned. We are definitely going to lose some zombie units, though, and hopefully we can reinforce this army. Let's go ahead and... Aha! We had to run! No! Oh, dear Palomar. Well, we'll go ahead and end the turn, let the army sort of regroup a little bit, I guess, but likely we should have maybe waited another turn, so we'll go ahead and just see how this goes. Okay, it's our turn once again, and these units are going to take a while to heal up, obviously. I may just stay put for now and go ahead and try to purchase some more units. So let's get some cold mist skeletons. We'll go ahead and buy them. End the turn again, and I'm actually kind of hoping that they will attack us. This will make it a lot easier for me, at least. I'll be able to defend, I'll be able to use those will-o-wisps, etc. But if not, we'll go ahead and hit them in a turn or two. A witch! All enemy units in a light force, old force, or swamp hex take 15 death damage. Oh, wow. And that's one of the crazy things about Palomar, is essentially, they have these spells that affect anybody in their territory of Palomar. So all of their magical spells are basically area of effect spells that kill anybody in the surrounding area. So here we go. They want to actually trade us fish for alchemy, Evangod, and I'm going to accept it because we need fish. We need that to build our ghouls, etc. I'm going to go ahead and drop all of the skeletons in this army, all of the ones I can, of course. And actually, for the rest of the skeletons, I'll drop them in this army here. And we're just slowly building up our legion of undead. As for this guy here, he's just not going to be doing well in the next battle. Let's end our turn. And at that point, next time we attack Sonev, we're going to be prepared. It's quite clear that the elves are not to be messed with. They are rough. They're very, very elite warriors, They're not evil like we are. Well, they're opportunists, but not necessarily evil. And Malador's offering us non-aggression pact, of course. And Malador, of course, is ultimately the region we want to ally with. So we're going to definitely accept that. And we now have a nice little deal with Malador, so I'm happy about that. Now let's go ahead and charge in again, and this time, hopefully we're going to be ready. I'm definitely going to do the tactical battle. Even though there's only one guy here, I'm curious to see how he reacts. So we do have our witch in control of this army, obviously. But we're going to go ahead. The placement is fine as is, honestly, and I'm just going to go ahead and attack. We just need to kill this Elven Bard. It actually... This is actually kind of mean. Like, it's just a guy playing music. He wants no problem. He just wants to be left alone, and we're just going to go kill him. Oh, well. So we're going to take our zombies, because I'm curious to see how hard they hit. and as expected, not very hard. You know, they're very light, expendable units. We'll go ahead here, and our ghouls, I'm curious to see what they would do here. Alright, so the enemy is definitely uncertain, and let's go ahead and use... We might as well use this unit, because he's more or less almost dead anyway. And as you can see, these skeletons are not nearly as good as the zombies or the ghouls in this case. These are all very expendable units, which leads me to believe that, like I said in the beginning, this is a faction that is magic heavy. You've really got to boost your magic to be able to boost these units. And of course, we could also use this. Light Forest, Old Forest, Swamp Hex take 15 death damage. I believe this guy is in a a Forest Hex. But I'm not going to use that card right now. I really just want to take him out with my units. So we'll go ahead and continue. End the turn. And it looks like the enemy is not even going to fight us. Beautiful. There we go, guys. So we captured a province from Sonanev, and this will now be ours. We're going to go ahead. We're going to hit end turn, and hopefully the enemy will attack us with an army so that we can show off our defensive skills here. You are continuing to occupy the enemy province. Every turn you will reduce its economy by 1. So this is essentially, you know, for those of you that don't play Sovereignty, once this number goes down to 0, then I take the province. But we need to wear down the economy of this area first. Let's go ahead and group these two armies together. And look at this. Wow, Veswai has a huge army on our borders. I don't like the way that thing looks one bit. And let's go ahead and purchase some ghouls. We really need some ghouls here. They're decent fighters, it seems. And we'll go ahead and throw them into this army once we can. This is the Army of the Witch. I shall dub this the Army of the Witch because it's currently being controlled by a witch, so it sort of makes sense. And I'm going to first get the ghouls into this army before I do anything. And another good thing about that is we'll be taking the province of Nebonin anyway. Now let's go ahead and we've annexed the province, which is awesome. I'm taking a look at my magic tree, and I can already learn some of these spells. So as you guys can see here, one of the spells is Despair. Despair grips invaders in your lands. All units in one enemy army receive -1 initiative and -3 discipline. This is what I was telling you about Palomar and their ability over their own land. Their ability to just, you know, make it so evil that anybody stepping into it is going to suffer combat penalties. Let's go ahead and Nightmare Death. Click to spend a spell, and this is destroy an enemy unit's fighting will. Receives a -1 attack, and discipline is set to 0. I'm going to go ahead and learn the Nightmare first. And eventually we'll move up to the second tier here, and basically just destroy people on different penalties, etc. So let's go ahead. We're going to learn the Nightmare spell. And there we go. It pops up. I just got a little achievement too because I only actually added spells during the beta, so this is awesome. Death. Cast this spell. And we're going to go ahead. If we see an enemy army, I will cast it. But so far, it doesn't look like there's anything in the area. So we're just going to go ahead and end the turn. But first, I will also learn Despair. And I'm really just trying to fill up my spell tree with everything I can to really hurt the enemy army here. Alright, let's see. We actually should have spent a point to increase our magic level, but that's okay. I'm a magic noob, I must admit. I'm much more concerned with the combat on the ground, as it were. Alright, so far that army in Veswa isn't coming close enough to worry me. That's good. Because before they were really looking scary. Stirrings of Revolt. Trouble is bringing Nebonin. Click on it to learn more. I'm not concerned about Nebonin. This is the area we just took, obviously, and there's going to be some people pissed off. Some dissidents are trying to stir up a revolt here. Revolts are more prevalent in foreign provinces you do not own. Let's see. I'm actually confused. Where did our army go? Did the revolt destroy our army? Is that even possible? Oh my gosh. That doesn't really make sense. I don't think so anyway. That's a little weird. Okay, well, anyway, we'll go ahead. Maybe we'll go ahead and take a look at another faction here, guys. Now that we've gotten a look at the Death Knights. I have no idea what happened there. Maybe a glitch of some sort. It could also just be that the rebellion itself destroyed them. That never had that happen to me before. So anyway, we're going to go ahead for now. We're going to stop Palomar. Hope you guys don't mind. We're going to go ahead and take a look at another faction, because actually there was another faction mentioned that I think you guys would find pretty cool. And before I end the stream, I want to go ahead and show you a new one. So you guys saw Palomar, very interesting focus on the Death Knights and on magic. I love the ability that they seem to be actually a more defensive sort of race, because they're, they have all these spells that destroy the invader's will. Anybody invading that territory is asking for death. Don't know what happened to that army. That was definitely weird, but we'll figure it out. So let's go ahead, guys. We're going to try a new game. And actually, what I want to show you guys, I've shown you Palomar. I'm going to go ahead and show you Malador. This is, of course, the Malador and Palomar, excuse me, work together, essentially. As you can see here, a century ago, we were Peruvian. We conducted our rituals in secret. Our martyrs fell so that, in exile, we could establish Malador and practice in the open. And while the self-indulgent Peruvian nobles congratulated themselves, we gathered our strength. Soon, our vengeance would be complete. We returned to Golden Spire at the head of a deathless legion. That is an awesome intro. Like, that makes me want to play with these guys every time. That is just so cool. A Deathless Legion. And of course, when they're referring to the Deathless Legion, they're talking about the Death Knights of Palomar. We want to try to get there. We want to try to control them. And we control creatures ourselves. So as you guys can see, we are humans. Our alignment is evil. And we're basically necromancers, to put it lightly. So I'm going to jump in here, guys, and take a look at Malador. So there we go. Centuries ago, there arose within the Peruvian Empire a new sect calling itself the Cult of the Worm. That is awesome. It was a cult of death that worshipped an undead dragon as a god. For years, this cult was tolerated within Peruvia, but eventually its repugnant practices set off a series of purges that drove the cult into exile. Its members settled in the deserted, hellish pits in the east, and Malador was born. Today, much of Malador remains unsettled. The few human outposts here are the great and isolated necropolises at Salocoil and Netherwell. It is here that the rituals of the cult go on, patiently preparing to unleash their undead horde. Wow, that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and just take a look, obviously, at the Maladorian army. I always like to look at the armies first when I start a sort of game, and this is looking very interesting. So we've got cultists. That's so cool. So obviously cultists make up a part of the army here. And let's take a look over here. We've got headhunters, and they look absolutely terrifying, of course. Sort of tribal looking, almost, with that sickle just to slice your head off. Justiciars, these are actually prevalent in other armies, too. I'm not sure if they're called Justiciars, but the same basic look, the same attack. Tower Harpies, very interesting. They have a flying ability, although they are craven, which I guess makes sense. Harpies aren't exactly the bravest creature. An Inquisitor, a fearsome reputation, obviously, here. The Necromancer, and I'm just so interested in seeing how this works. And the Worm, and look at that thing. That is creepy. So we have, of course, the Worm. We are a Worm death cult. Let's go ahead and purchase some units. So far, we can't afford any of these units because we lack the resources available. We're going to need to trade for iron, and we're also going to need to trade here for crafts before we can even get these units. But honestly, right now, I'm not even going to be doing that. I'm waiting for a war to start, and I'm going to look over here to see if any of these areas have iron or crafts. Real doesn't. Calipari doesn't. Waterford doesn't. Oh, yes. Yes, here we go. It's got iron. So we're definitely going to be going into Bonero first. And will that be part of the Peruvian Empire? It very well may be. Oh, no, it's part of Galeni. So Galeni is going to be our first target, guys. I'm going to go ahead. I think we need to wait one more turn before we can attack. Yes, we do. But in the meantime, we can just bide our time. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going to head into Bonero, and sadly, the Worm and our Inquisitor cannot join us. You know, they're bound to the land of Malador. They can't step outside of it. Oh, we've got to wait one more turn. What am I thinking? So if we try to move them outside, it's not going to work. However, if the enemy attacks us, we're going to be in a very good position. And here we go, and Necromancer wants to join our banner, and this essentially gives the same ability that the Necromancer did in Palomar, and that is we get to select one of our units, one of the enemy units. They both get destroyed, which is great because you could take one of your worst units and just destroy one of the enemy's best units, and it works out perfectly. So we're going to go ahead here. We're jumping into Bonero. Of course we should invade, and I really want to see, looks like they have no army here to speak of. I really want to see how they'll react to our presence. So we'll go ahead and end. Looks like nobody really wants to get in way of the Necromancers, and I don't blame them. But I really do want to face one of their armies here. Alright, we've annexed the province here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move into Dreska. And still no armies. Amazing. Let's see if we can maybe upgrade some of our economy. That's not going to happen. Go ahead and end the turn. Alright, so obviously we're having a revolt in Bonero. I expected this to happen. But what I really want to do is go ahead and crush the enemy elsewhere and find one of their armies. They may not have any armies left. Let's try to attack Tayana, and we're definitely going to go ahead and do the tactical battle, just because I want to see my units in action. And I also have this Necromancer unit here. I really want to see how he works. Now, this is weird. We have to actually cross the water, and I'm not sure if I'm familiar with this. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to fight. And of course, our units can go into water, which is good, thankfully. So we're going to go ahead and cross over. I actually skipped taking their city here. I'll move a cultist here to take it. And I almost want to use our Necromancer ability just to show you guys. In fact, I will. The reason being, you know, I'm not going to be continuing this particular Let's Play or anything like that. This is just to show you guys how these different units fight. By the way, look how far our Harpy can fly. That's amazing. But let's go ahead and use our Necromancer's ability. So we're going to select one of our units. Let's go ahead and select... I'm hoping we could take a cultist. Sacrifice a cultist. And a standard enemy unit with no medals. Ah, I see. That's where they get us. No medals. Very well. We'll go ahead and target one of these guys, the footmen. Select a standard infantry unit with no medals. And there we go. 100 damage to each, and they're destroyed. That's pretty cool, man. So basically sacrificing your units to achieve victory. I like it. Let's go ahead and move these guys forward, and we are getting closer and closer to taking over this province as well. Hopefully before the end of the stream, I probably want to go ahead and show you guys one more race. I'll just kind of introduce you to them because somebody mentioned them in the beginning, and it seemed really, really cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a look here. Let's see what we can do. We're merely going to continue our assault. Can't really attack right now, apparently, so we'll keep going. And I really want to get these Necromancers into battle. Alright, so we're already taking over these capitals, just as we sort of roam around. Let's go ahead and do some charge damage here with our Harpies. Of course, since they are a cavalry unit, they can do charge damage. Boom! Oh, wow! I didn't realize there was going to be a little sound effect there. That's cool. Definitely a painful hit there for the enemy, and we'll go ahead and end the turn. And now he took 28 damage afterwards. That's strange. Oh, that may have been actually missile damage from the enemy, so that makes sense. We're going to move forward with the rest of our cultists here, and as you can see, they actually do quite a lot of damage. I'm surprised by that. So the cultists are not bad. And there we go. We took the town of Tayana from Galenia, of course. Not surprising in the slightest. We'll go ahead and end our turn and see what we want to do next. Now, the revolt could very well take back this area of Bonero, so typically if you're playing this game, I would definitely recommend, you know, have a unit here. Just make sure to have a unit here to basically stop the revolts, or else you're never going to end up taking the territory. So we're going to go ahead and attack this province. Galeni's got yet another army here, and I'm going to actually just auto this battle, because we are getting close to the end of the stream here. We're trying to keep the stream to about 30 minutes instead of 1 hour long. I hope you guys are okay with that, and I'm essentially just going to go ahead and show you quickly one other faction here that I think you guys would find pretty cool. So already we can see here, some factions are great in auto battles. It seems that Malador is terrible, and that makes sense. So we're going to go ahead and abandon this. In terms of only auto battle, of course, that's what I'm talking about. In terms of a tactical battle, I think their units look incredible and certainly have a lot of possibilities in terms of tactics. So let's go ahead, quit to menu, and I'm going to show you guys one of the weirder factions. Somebody mentioned it in the beginning of this stream. I believe it was actually Red Commissar. I can't remember what he called himself. But he was mentioning this, and I want to show you guys. It is pretty cool. We're going to go ahead and hit New Game here. And this is one of the factions. I'll actually show you a few here, because we're not going to have time to start an entirely new Let's Play here. But the Cloudfells. Now, Oh, he takes after Daddy. Not 10 days in the crib and he's cracking his first goblin legs. We don't have many goblins left. We gotta go out and find our boy some new toys. And these are the Cloudfells. These are a race of giants. Not particularly the most intelligent creatures, but they're very good at killing things. They have a very tiny province next to the Iron Barony, and often goblins and orcs from the Iron Barony will actually come to Cloudfells, steal away one of these giants, and turn them into a rock troll. Or so, I believe. That's my thinking anyway. So that's an interesting Let's Play there. Another one I wanted to show you guys. A lot of people have asked me in private messages to do these guys. I just don't know enough about the naval aspects of the game, so maybe this week I'll go ahead and take a look, and that is the human race of the Azure Isles. And these are essentially a race of pirates. They are human, their alignment is evil, and they essentially live on the Azure Isles, you know, looking to come back to the land and take over and just create one massive pirate kingdom, which would be pretty awesome. And we also have, another one I wanted to show you guys here is Bereska. This is just, for some reason, the look of the people here is very interesting to me. Essentially, they are just humans. They're defensive, diplomatic. A lot of diplomacy goes into this particular race, but I just think the actual image of the character looks really pretty and kind of makes me wonder what other hidden things do they have, what other hidden, you know, abilities, things of this nature. A lot of people like the dwarves, obviously. There's a lot of different dwarves here. The Brogan-Her dwarves are ones I really want to do because their main goal is to become a great economic power, and they have excellent units in terms of missile attack, stuff like that. And finally, and these guys are probably the next sect I want to tackle, if not maybe just jumping to the Cloudfells, but this is Krivia. And as you can see here, the Baruvian Empire is rich in history, magnificent in tradition. Sculpture lines golden spire's mighty bulwarks, and the scent of jasmine drifts along her humblest road. And through the beauty of her youth has faded, Baruvia still holds herself as the grand queen of a bygone age. Now, this is an evil queen that has essentially broken away from the Baruvian Empire, or an evil faction, I should say, that has broken away from the Baruvian Empire to try to form their own empire. But they start as a very, very small area. And I'm wondering, how could they possibly break out of Krivia through Galeni here, and manage to actually take over the Baruvian Empire, because that's the ultimate goal here. So I don't know, guys. Ice Spire, of course, really interesting. I always thought that this would be basically elves, but these are actually humans, and isolationist and magical. They're magic heavy, much like Palomar is, and very, very superstitious, very superstitious people, and also, like I said, magic heavy. So you want to take a look at those guys if you like magic in general. Hadrigal's not that interesting, although Hadrigal's pretty cool. And of course, finally, Saruso. This is basically one of the only, if not the only, Night Elf faction in the game. I don't believe there are any others. And if you like Dark Elves, Night Elves, that sort of thing, you're going to want to take a look at this. So if you guys would just, you know, make sure to put down below what you'd like to see in the next Let's Play, next episode of this, next stream, etc. I'm going to try to do one last battle quickly here, and I'm going to take the Cloudfells. I'm just curious as to how they actually play, so we'll wrap up the stream with one final battle, and we will be killed instantly because we're right next to the Iron Barony, and that's exactly who I plan to attack. So we'll go ahead and take a look here at the Cloudfells. Essentially the Cloudfells units. So they have goblins in their units. That's interesting. They've obviously got the ogres, some harpies, it's awesome, some eagles, wow. And also, let's see, a Cerberus. That is awesome, as well as a Stump Hill half-orc, and that is quite an interesting name for a creature. So I'm going to go ahead and first take a look at the different units we can get, and of course we want to get some ogres, as many as we can get, and it looks like right now we can only get one. They seem to be quite expensive, but the great thing about playing here is that we have the stone available to raise them, so all we need is money, which makes it pretty easy to raise a really large giant army, our army of giants, however you want that phrase. So let's go ahead and end our turn here. And we're going to just go straight to war with the Iron Barony. First battle we get with them, I'm going to go after one of these huge armies and just see how long I can survive. And let's take a look. Of course, Spring Bloom, nothing new there in the turn. Alright, here we go, guys. We got a Battle Mage that's joining our banner, and essentially all he does is deal 35 damage to a unit in one turn, but that's actually pretty helpful, believe it or not. Let's go ahead and take... It looks like our our orcs are going to take 5 turns, or excuse me, our trolls are going to take 5 turns to raise. That's one problem. I mean, obviously it takes a long time for rock trolls to come of age. They need to do their training. They need to eat a lot of goblin flesh. And no, I'm rejecting that. The Iron Barony wants a non-aggression pact. Why would I accept the non-aggression pact? We want to go to war. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to attack, guys. We're invading. And this is a very small enemy force here. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the tactical battle just because I want to see how these units move, what their abilities are, etc. I want to get, obviously, I want to put my ogre here because he is the crux of my army. We'll put the goblin slaves over here off to the side, and maybe put these eagles back here. Hopefully we get a lot of cavalry damage from the eagles and from the harpies here. And let's go ahead, start the battle. And all we really need to do is kill this one unit of Grumgrunts. I'm just curious to see what sort of damage we're going to do and what sort of abilities these different units have. So I'm going to move forward with the Stump Hill Half-Orc. Now, I expected this to actually be a magical unit, but he's not. Looks like he's just combat-based. In fact, he doesn't have any real special abilities. That's just, you know, 3-2, I guess, or just a regular attacker. So I'm going to go ahead, hit this guy with the melee damage, and holy crap, that is amazing. The Eagles do a tremendous amount of damage there on the charge. I could even finish this unit off right now. Boom. There we go. Totally finished. So far, Cloudfells, I mean, just imagine the possibilities with these guys. If you have a line of these trolls, rock orcs, whatever you want, I mean, rock trolls, giants, whatever you want to call them, and you're managed to basically support that line with a strong cavalry unit as well, that's going to be an unstoppable army, and could possibly destroy the entire Iron Barony. So that's definitely something to possibly take a look at in the next stream. I'm really, really liking the units here that Cloudfell seems to have. Anyway, guys, like I said in the beginning of the stream, we're trying to keep the streams shorter. I just want to give a heads up that tomorrow there is going to be an Order of Battle Pacific stream for the folks here at Slytherin. You guys definitely want to check that out as well. As well as, if you guys have not yet taken a look at my channel, you're a fan of strategy games, you're a fan of Slytherin games as well, make sure to take a look. It's Agrippa Maxentius, A-G-R-I-P-P-A, space M-A-X-E-N-T-I-U-S. And if you guys have any questions, anything like that, make sure to put them down below. I'll be around for about 5 minutes or something to answer questions for you guys. So I'll go ahead and take a look at the chat now. It's the only time I have to take a look at the chat, and I'll go ahead and do that now. So stick around, guys, for a little question time after, and put that down below. Cook-off, that's actually a good question. As far as I know, alliances, essentially, if you're evil, then an evil alliance is going to be much more likely to ally with you. For instance, if you're evil and trying to ally with a good neighbor, it's very unlikely to happen. So evil tends to stick with evil, good tends to stick with good. I guess the middle ground would just be defensive, and that's essentially people or races that just want to be left alone. They don't want to get into wars or conflicts or anything like that. Thanks, Pyben. Yeah, we're still trying to figure out, you know, essentially, how we're gonna do this stream, how we want to do it. So perhaps this time it was a little too short. Last time we did an hour, I believe, and people started leaving around the 40-minute, 45-minute mark. So maybe next time we'll try 45 minutes or 40 minutes, and see what you guys think. Yes, Red Dog, it's quite a fun game, and that's another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is, you know, this game especially, in particular, is very much a communal game. They want you guys, and I seriously mean this, the guys at Slytherin and the guys at the Lord's Game Studios that also made this game, they really want your feedback. So if any of you guys have ideas on how to improve the game, it doesn't matter how crazy your idea is, they're very, very likely to actually take a look at it and consider it. So I would say go to the Slytherin forums, obviously. Also go to the Steam forums for sovereignty itself, and post topics. You know, post, hey devs, this is what I want in the game. I'd like this to occur. I'd like these units to look better. I'd like this terrain to look better. Everything like that. You know, they're going to be very interested in hearing about it. So make sure to post that there, excuse me, guys. And I'm not just saying that. You know, a lot of people will say that as an advertising gimmick, like, oh, the company cares about what you say, when really they don't. I promise you that the whole point of essentially sovereignty is to create a fantasy game that appeals to all fantasy players. So if you guys have feedback for them, if you guys have ideas, opinions, you know, post it there. They are going to look at it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out and watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go to the main Sovereignty channel once this stream is uploaded. Put a comment there as well, and maybe try to bring your friends to the next stream. That would be really, really cool. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. I really appreciate it. It was fun playing as Palomar, although I don't think I'm nearly as good a commander of undead as I am of orcs and goblins and that sort of thing. It's quite interesting. It's a very different play style, but I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I want you guys to have an awesome, awesome day. Take care, and don't do drugs. I mean, that just goes without saying, I suppose, right? Take care, guys. See you next week.